Hi everyone, I'm attorney Vince Hein with Russell Law Offices, and in this video we're going to talk about nursing home crisis planning or Medicaid crisis planning. If you've watched some of our other videos, we talk about planning generally, and we've talked about pre-planning, and now we're going to talk about crisis planning, meaning somebody is going into a nursing home or an assisted living facility right now or in a pretty short period. So in this particular approach, when we're doing crisis planning, it depends if you're married or single. If you're single, we can do what's called a spend down, you may have heard of, a Medicaid spend down. We can buy various things, fix up the house if you have one, right? Do some funeral spending, etc. But at some point, if you have too many assets, we're going to run out of things to spend on, and there's going to be some money left over. So if that's the case, frequently what we would do is what's called half a loaf. And the half a loaf is from the expression half a loaf is better than none, like a loaf of bread. And that's where we gift out some money, and that creates a penalty period. And then we retain some money to cover your cost of care during that penalty period. It's not exactly a 50-50 split. So when we say half, it's really an approximation. But an example here would be, we gift out $50,000 to the three kids, and then we take the $50,000 again, approximately that remains, and we put that into what's called a Medicaid compliant annuity, and that now becomes an unavailable asset, and we use that to cover your cost of care. So we actually apply for Medicaid knowing you made this gift within that 5-year look-back period, and what happens is that creates a penalty period, but that's okay. We've done some math here to calculate for to cover your cost of care during that penalty period, and then we reapply for Medicaid after that penalty period has run, and then we get approved. So we do the spend down first, then we do the half a loaf, and that's how we protect assets, at least very commonly for a single person. If you're married, we can use those same Medicaid compliant annuities that I've talked about, or you can also do promissory notes. I tend to lean towards the Medicaid compliant annuity a little bit more. But if you're married, there's going to be a community spouse and a institutionalized spouse, at least in my example. If both of you are sick at the same time, you are both going to be the institutionalized spouse. But in my example, one person is at home and is healthy, and one person is in the nursing home. If you're the healthy spouse, the community spouse, you can keep your retirement account. So if you've got an IRA worth $200,000, that's great, you can keep it. Your sick spouse cannot. However, we can still do things to protect it, like put a Medicaid compliant annuity inside of that IRA, and then use what's called the name on the check rule to have that money spit back out over to you, and it gets protected. I can't protect the tax bill, but I can still, generally with a married couple, I can protect really all the assets. Now it depends if you've got multiple properties and things like that. I can't get into all of those things here today, but if you're married, I can generally protect everything. If you're single, I can protect about, let's say, $100,000, and about half after that. If you're the community spouse in my example, you can have $50,000, potentially more, plus your retirement account, plus your house, plus one car. The institutionalized spouse, and this is the same for the single person example, they can have a house, a car, and $2,000. If you're single and you have that house, you can be eligible for Medicaid, but then they'll put a lien on the house, and thus the house can be recovered against later through estate recovery. If you're married, they're not supposed to put the lien on the house if you have a community spouse living there. If you're single, there are some exceptions as well. If you've got a minor child or a disabled child living there, they won't put the lien on the house, but most of the time that's not the case. So that's for crisis planning, meaning somebody is sick right now. We've got to get them into the nursing home or assisted living facility. And that's just really a very quick overview of some of the techniques we can use. So for a married couple, again, I can protect everything. It's just a matter of how many steps do we have to take. If you're single, I can protect typically about the first 100K and then about half after that. And again, this is in the context of crisis planning. We do have other videos on pre-planning. If you do pre-planning, well in advance, then when you do the crisis planning later, we can protect more assets. But it's never too late to do something. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm Attorney Vince Hein from Russell Law Offices. Thank you very much.